Welcome back, students. Hope you are fine at your homes. So far, students, we have studied about the process of photosynthesis in which plants make their own food, that is a glucose, which is made up of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates plants are able to achieve. So the carbohydrates they get from the process of photosynthesis, but the plants also need proteins. So from where they do get proteins, today we are going to learn about it. So that is our topic is synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. Carbohydrates so they can get from photosynthesis, but how do they get proteins? That we are going to discuss in today's topic. So far, we have studied that plants can make their own food by the using sunlight and chlorophyll. They can use water and carbon dioxide, and which is converted into glucose with the help of chlorophyll. And we know that the glucose that is made in plants, that is a carbohydrate, and the process of making food like this is known as photosynthesis. This is so far we have done. But as we have discussed that plants also need proteins, so they achieve their proteins from the nitrogen which is present in the environment. But the plants can and animals cannot take this nitrogen directly from atmosphere, but that nitrogen needs to be converted into some compounds, into some mixtures that which can be taken by the plants. So the plants and animals cannot live without nitrogen. It is an important part of many cells. Proteins are made up of nitrogen. So like the proteins they will achieve only from the nitrogen. So the chlorophyll in the plants is also made up of nitrogen. So for the synthesis of chlorophyll also the plants need nitrogen. So how do they get that nitrogen? Today we are going to discuss. From where do we find nitrogen? It is approximately 78% in our atmosphere. Most of the gas that is present in the atmosphere is nitrogen, that is 78%. And 21% it is oxygen, and 1% are the other gases like carbon dioxide, etc. So as we have discussed that the nitrogen cannot be cannot be taken by plants in a direct way, so it needs to be converted, it needs to be fixed so that it can be used by plants. So the process of converting atmospheric nitrogen by the plants into something that can be taken by them, that is known as नाइट्रोजन फिक्सेशन. जो प्रोसेस में प्लांट्स एटमॉस्फेयर की नाइट्रोजन को एक यूजेबल फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट करते हैं, उस प्रोसेस को नाइट्रोजन फिक्सेशन बोला जाता है. सो दैट वो यूजेबल फॉर्म में जो नाइट्रोजन बनी है उसको वो इजीली टेक इन कर सके टू गेट प्रोटीन्स.
Nitrogen fixation.
So now let us see the process of nitrogen fixation, students. So look at this carefully, that how the plants are able to convert the atmospheric nitrogen in the atmosphere. So how they convert it into usable form, let us see it.
Fixation. Certain plants, especially of the legume family, have a special type of soil bacteria living in small rounded outgrowths on their roots called nodules. Now these bacteria are able to directly fix atmospheric nitrogen, convert them into nitrites, nitrates, and make them available to the plant.
So this is how the bacteria that is present in the roots of the plants, that is a rhizobium, it converts the nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, into usable form. So once the nitrogen is fixed, it can be absorbed by the plant easily but they were not able to receive that nitrogen from the atmosphere directly. So the rhizobium, which is present in the leguminous plants roots, it converts the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates. Nitrates are the nitrogen compounds which are easily taken up by the plants. So, as animals directly or indirectly depend on the plants for the food, nitrogen enter their body also. As the cows graze the grass and the plants they eat, so that nitrogen which is present in the plants, there's a chlorophyll that is also taken up by the animals as they eat it. So we have learned that there are the special bacterias which can do nitrogen fixation. The bacteria change nitrogen into compounds that the plants can absorb easily to synthesize their proteins. This nitrogen then gets used up by the different parts of the plants for various functions. Also, this nitrogen fixation can occur naturally also, students, like in the lightning process. When there is a lightning, this nitrogen which is present in atmosphere, it gets changed, it gets converted into nitrogenous compounds, which are which mix with water and come to the earth's surface, and further it is taken by the roots of the plants as a nitrogen compounds. So also the volcanic eruptions. So this is it. So hope you are clear with the nitrogen fixation, students. So see you in the next video.